and said, well, there's a remote possibility, but I should say that, well, if you want to have a look at him and see him from a distance, it is possible. So how is it possible? How can it be possible? Well, this is at the time of Kumbh Mela, you know, when there is a mass gathering of millions of people, and if you want to pinpoint a certain person, you can't be in that crowd there. All that you have to stand out from the crowd. So it says if you cross the river and stand out on the other bank, then maybe there's a possibility of having a view of it. Otherwise, how is it possible? You follow what I'm saying? Is logic is true. It's quite logical. So it says, you mean to say that on the bank of the river he will be there? He says, yeah, there's a possibility. In the meantime, what had happened is that Baba Das came to know that, you know, Shatrugna Kumar, yeah, in New Life, we started going from one place to another, and when we went, we stationed at his farm, which is known now, at that time it was known as Manjri Mafi, but then it is now officially recorded and known as Meher Mafi. It's named after Meher Baba. Yeah. So, by the government. So, he came in contact and he came to know through Shatrugna that Shatrugna has made arrangement at a certain, what we call terrace, that has been taken up by his, was owned by his friend, Shatrugna's friend, and Baba and the women and the Mandli will be on the terrace to view this whole occasion instead of being inside the crowd. So he tried to get the address. Baba Das got the address there and immediately went and informed Pukar about it, because it's near to that district, this place, Rishikesh, Hardwar. It was Hardwar. So Pukar said, yes, I'm sure to come. So he says, you have to cross the river and go on the other bank and see there. And then Pukar told him that he might be appearing there on the terrace there, and from a distance you can see him if you want to. That is the only possibility. He said, never mind, I will hazard that. So that's how, for the first time, he had a view of Baba from that distance. It's a long distance, and Ganges River is not a small river or rivulet as you call it, but it's a huge thing. But from there, he actually saw him as the dazzling figure there. Yeah. So he says, so Baba Das, he tells Baba Das, he asked Baba Das was there, he said, is that the person there in that white that is who's standing there? He said, yeah, that's the robe of the New Life, that kafni as it is called. Yeah, he's the one. And he looks at him, and somehow or other his heart felt that there is something in this man, because thus far he could accept him. There is something in the man. And then he tells Baba that was the first glimpse of Pukar's of Baba. So then he tells Baba Das, will it be possible whenever the opportunity is afforded to us, is it possible for us to have a close darshan of him, or interview or anything? There's no interview in New Life, he doesn't see anybody or anything, it's not possible. He didn't know that Baba would make it possible exactly after a year. Because if you all know, if you'll go through the records, you'll find that for one day he stepped into old life. On 16th of October, yeah, 1950. In Mahabaleshwar. So well, Baba Das naturally was at that time in the circle, so he came to know about that and he informed Pukar, and then Pukar, there were many other colleagues of his who were also underground workers. Keshav Nigam was a prisoner. You know Keshav Nigam?
I just read his story.
Yeah. Where is it?
Isn't that in this one?
Yeah, in the Glow. Yeah, that is there. And there was another MLA at the time, member of the Legislative Assembly, for many years. His name was Rawat, Shripad Sahib. So he was there also. So they were the invitees at that time. So he inquired, and they were all colleagues, you see, in prison at the time. You see, they knew. So they were followers of Baba. They had heard of Baba and they accepted him. Whereas Pukar is yet to accept Baba. He has not accepted him. But he has seen him from a distance. So what happened is this now, somehow or other Pukar tries to wangle his way into the assembly for that one day and get his admission there. So through these people who were very close to Baba, had come close to Baba, they were not very close, but they were the new ones, you see. Just like the Westerners at the time, you see, and their eagerness and their enthusiasm, and Baba is slave to their love. You see. It's like, so although Baba didn't want any outsiders or anything, but they had said so, so Baba said, all right, let him come. Bring him there with you. So that's how he got into that stable at that time. And that meeting for one day, he stepped for a few hours in from New Life to Old Life, in the stable of Aga Khan's place there. It's known as Aga Khan's stable there in Mahabaleshwar. It was known. Now, it had been given the name of Florence Hall. Now some religious organization has taken it. I don't know how many years have passed by. So, in the stable, we are all assembled there on that appointed day on 16th October. And of course, those New Life companions are with Baba, and Baba is there. Baba has not come, and the stable is now. It's not a small thing. Aga Khan is a very well-known figure if you have heard of his name. Yeah, it's a dynasty. You see, they are the heads of millions of people, followers. They have a following, religious following. He's the religious head, Aga Khan, and his son and his son's son and all they are on the throne, you may call it. So Baba had assembled the people, invitees were there on that appointed time, and Baba walks inside the stable, and it had a gate like this corrugated sheet like this. Huge gate is there, but a very shabby looking. It's all in a dilapidated condition. With him, I don't know why, being the ancient one, he seems to be attached to dilapidated things, you see. It seems so to me, yeah. Pardon?
Lucky for us.
Yeah, it is lucky. Yeah, it's good. Yeah. So, we are all there squatting on the earth. The stable means the earth, of course. Yeah. You can't have any marble paved things, you see. So we are all there, and a rickety chair is put for him in a corner at the far end of the stable, and he walks in with us. I was there, and others, 2 or 3 companions of New Life are there. All the companions are there, the 20 of them that were there. And we walk in, Baba walks in with a few of us, and we lead him to the chair, and he sits down. And doesn't sit down. He enters, and all of a sudden they were all seated. They had come a few minutes before, half an hour or 15 minutes before, and they all stand up. So Baba just tells them to sit down. And the injunction was nobody should bow down, just they can fold their hands. So they folded their hands when they stood up, and Baba told them to sit down. And he takes a seat there. When he takes a seat there, he turns to me and asks me, have they all come? I can't count them who are there and all that. So I look at them and I see the hall full. Then I said, yeah, all have come because the time is up. Because they knew about the punctuality and all that. So I said, yes, they have come. Then shut the gate. So he calls one of the other companions by name Vishnu. He remembered Vishnu this morning. You remembered, no, Vishnu? So Vishnu was there. So Vishnu is there. So he signals to Vishnu, shut the gate now. So poor Vishnu from nearby the sea. It's a long distance, although the stable is a big one, long distance. So he walks the distance and he goes to shut the gate. The 2 gates are to be brought together to lock them. And mind you, there is no such thing as window or anything on that stable. You see, we are all like horses stable there, you know. There is, of course, between the roof and the wall, there is that little ventilation, that's all. Just an opening, a gap. That was the only ventilation. So, and that was the thing through which the light filtered in. So while he's shutting the gate, to to his notice comes Gustaji, who is an old companion of Baba. And being old of age, and he needs to pee many times, you see, frequently. So he was coming with his cord, tying, walking, and he's coming, So just to respect, but naturally he was our new life companion, Baba's very old companion, and he was with Baba from the time of Sai Baba and Upasni. It's a matter of respect. We don't just do that, you see, immediately shut the gate when Gustaji is kept out like that. For such an important meeting here, Baba stepped into old life for one day from new life, although Gustaji was a new life companion also. So he waits for him. So while he is waiting there, his back is turned to look at Gustaji and is signaling to him to come soon. In the meantime, 3 persons dashed inside the stable. They had seen people coming, flocking to Mahabaleshwar, and they were all from different parts of India. Somebody had come from Pakistan, and somebody from Bombay, and somebody there, all UP and other places. And Mahabaleshwar is a small place. It's a small hill station, hilly place.
They were gate crashing?
Yeah, they came inside. They just rushed inside, and they had heard that Meher Baba is there. They had heard his name before, because Baba would be visiting Mahabaleshwar in the old life. So they had heard, and they said, it's a good opportunity, Meher Baba has come. So they rushed inside, and they went straight to the chair. Unawares I was taken up, because I was there by his side. Baba said, I should know better, that they should not bow down. But before I could do anything, they fell at his feet, all 3 of them together. So Baba immediately gets up from his chair and bows down to them. They are embarrassed, and they bow down again, and Baba again bows down, and this goes on for 2-3 times. Then I get back my senses. It happened within a minute, you may call it. So I catch hold of them. I said, what are you doing? I just said loudly, but it was rudeness on my part. I caught hold of them. I said, what are you trying to do? Don't you know that he doesn't want you to bow down? Of course, they didn't know. He says, we didn't know. Baba says, don't worry. And he caressed their cheeks and petted them and all that, embraced them and all that. He said, don't bow down. Now you have met me, you go. So they were happy and they left, because they got the physical touch of Baba, the contact and all that. They were happy. So then, of course, when they left, Vishnu locked the door. Vishnu comes close to Baba. And Pukar is seeing all this. Pukar is seeing this. Pukar, who is an observer now in the company of all the followers of Meher Baba. He's the only one stranger there. So he views all this. And he says, what sort of a man he is, that a person bows down to him, and he returns it, takes such great pains, and he goes down on the floor, on the ground, and bows down and all that. And now these are the things that come later on to our notice, because he narrates these to me. So, but what his mind is saying at that time, I have to depict that. So his mind says that, well, I have been with leaders, I am myself a leader, and I don't mind anybody paying me great respect. You see, I, on the contrary, feel happy, and my day is a good day when somebody does that. And I've seen many political leaders all over the places, and they feel happy about it, being garlanded and this and that, and here is somebody. Something we must find out with him. So this is how it has started playing upon his mind, this situation. But when Vishnu came close to Baba, and Baba looks at him and says, you are in the new life. You were, isn't it? Yesterday. We have stepped into old life today. But you know the rules. I told you to obey implicitly. I told you to shut the gate, and why did you not shut the gate? In the meantime, these people came in. What stopped you? What prevented you from shutting the gate? So he naturally, innocently tells Baba, Gustaji was coming, and I saw him coming, and so I was trying to call him soon to the place. Gustaji? What has Gustaji to do with my order? I had ordered you to do it. Even if you had seen God coming, so what has that to do with my order to you? Why did you wait? And then he turns to the people and says, how often I have been driving home to you all that I want you to obey me. Nobody seems to pay any, means he's lamenting now on his own, as if a soliloquy you may call it. Yeah, and I'm the interpreter. This is nobody pays heed to what I mean by obedience and all that. And then he says, even if I were to tell you to give me a slap, you should do it. Come here, give me a slap now. So that person gets up with all this now naturally. So he goes and just does this. Oh, Baba again says, is this the way to obey me? Is this the slap? If you were to give a slap to somebody, do you pat him on the cheek? Is this the way to obey me? All this Pukar is seeing all this, mind you. We did not know that all this drama, he had called a meeting, a very important meeting. He is stepping into old life for few hours from his new life, that he would never return to old life, and he has done all this. Why should he do all this? And it seemed as if, but it is so logical that Baba is now emphasizing the fact on obedience and all that. But drama behind this, behind the stage is something different, which we came to know later on. So what happened is that he is lamenting the fact that nobody seems to pay heed to my injunction to obey me implicitly. So he says, he is disgusted with that man. He calls somebody, you come and give me a slap. So the person comes and gives like that. Baba says, is this the slap that a person gives to another one? Is this the way that you all do it? Nobody seems to pay heed anything. You come and give me, and then he calls out one, Meenu Kharas is there from Pakistan. And now this is the third time now, he should do something, and Meenu Kharas, those who know him know, what a fanatic he is and obedient. He gave such a tight slap to Baba that turned his head like that. I saw it. What a thunderous slap that was. And Baba says, this is what I mean by obedience to you. This is obedience. And Baba patted him and says, yeah, I'm very happy and pleased with you. Go and sit down.
No, the women went there.
So what happened is now, all this is being witnessed by Pukar. And his mind is in a turmoil. He says, what a leader he is. We give them orders and they carry them out. But nobody has taken upon, no leader has taken upon himself to give an example of obedience. And here he is being slapped one after the other. And he's never satisfied till the real slap is there. And that changed his heart immediately. He got up there, a giant of a man, took all his clothes out, including his dhoti and everything, naked, stark naked. Huge person, like a giant, and just falls at the feet of Baba. He says, Kunago, absolutely, yeah, everything. So, when he tells, but in northern India or amongst Indians they have that langoti always. That is there. Yeah. What do you call that? What do you call it? Is there an English word for that langoti?
Loincloth?
Loincloth is
No,
the closest.
loincloth is a cloth like a lungi or something like that. Huh?
G-string.
What do you call it?
G-string.
Cheese.
G. G-string.
G-string.
Yeah. It gets the idea across.
That's what the sadhus wear. You know, you see the sadhus.
Yeah, one string and a piece of cloth.
Yeah.
That's all. Just a little strip of cloth. That's all. Yeah, that all Indians have that. You see. So that he was there. So Baba looks at him and says, "What is this?" He says, "Body, possessions, mind, everything, I surrender." Baba says, "I'm happy to hear from you, but you just wear the clothes back." So, this is my order, wear them. So he wears them. And he sits quietly. And from that day on, the impact was so great on him that he, instead of being after his life, now he has dedicated his life to Baba. That's the story. Yeah. And soon after that, then, of course, he was on the line at the time. He went from place to place in the district, telling about Baba, telling about his love, telling about him being the ancient one and all that sort of thing. Yeah, he did much work.
But formerly he had even planned to assassinate.
Assassinate him, yeah.
Even when he was not well on his legs and edema and they were swollen like that, and we would advise him, say, no, he just went on.
Yeah, who, Pukar?
Walking,
Yeah,
miles.
Pukar would go. He had a heart trouble also because of his huge fatty structure.
When he came to Maine, it was wonderful. But people were telling, when he came to Maine, Pukar was invited to Maine to that Mela, but I don't know when it was, 75. And then he came, we were in Myrtle Beach, and he came down to Myrtle Beach, but people were saying it was such an experience taking Pukar down, the highway down from Maine to Myrtle Beach, because in America, we're not used to these sadhus and all. So they would stop at these truck stops. I don't know if that means anything to you, but just the trucker, they're sitting there with their cup of coffee and their donut, and nobody said boo to anybody. And there's the waitress, give me 5, over easy or something, real kind of tough. So Pukar really would come in and he had so much love for Baba. He would go in and embrace all the people. The things that people were so impressed with is that the love was genuine, that people would be taken aback with. If it were anybody else, they would just sock them or something like that. But it
Even
was,
non-Baba Nadas, he was embracing?
yeah,
Strangers.
he would just go in.
Truck drivers and rest stops.
Very no-nonsense people,
So now what happens is that it's not just for that time that this Baba set us an example of obedience whenever he commanded or gave an order. Of course it was there, and what had happened was that at that time the meeting dispersed. After the deliberations were over, he had given that little message, which is somebody has made it that it's a sermon on the mount and all that sort of thing. You know how it is at Mahabaleshwar.
Baba's sermon, yes, they
Yes,
call
Baba's sermon. And mount because Mahabaleshwar is a mount. So they call it sermon on the mount in this advent and all that. It's a very beautiful message, no doubt. So all this is there. And of course we again started on a new life. It's a new life. We knew it, and that's the end of our old life, people and all that, nothing. We had no contact, nothing of that sort. But that episode served us best, you see, when later on, after he dropped his body and you all started coming over here, and in the early years when you all came, you all were not, after what Meher Baba said, or whatever his discourses, or what did God Speak say, he said in God Speaks, or anything of that sort. They were after every details of his personal life and what happened and this and that and new life and old life and this, all was there. And in the midst of the topic and talks, one day it so happened that I described them as to, what happened, how did he come from new life to this place again? So I described him what happened at night prior to that. And in that night you all know the story about the bird and how Baba wanted us to beat him with our shoes and spit upon him and all that. That story is famous there. So they would ask me the question, says, how did you feel at that time? Didn't you all feel anything to spit on him and to shoo him like that? And at that time, we had never given a thought to it, you see. And I said, no, we never felt anything. We never felt anything? He said, no. Then, all of a sudden it struck me why we didn't feel anything, because the lesson that he had taught us of implicit obedience on that day in New Life itself. Yeah. He wanted it, so he had it. Yeah. Who are we to question him and why we should do it? On the contrary, we felt happy having shooed him because he felt happy and relieved because of his, cruelty to the bird. He said, now I'm relieved of the burden. Now to top it all, spit on me. And then we spat on him and says, now I'm very happy. And because he was happy, we were happy, that's all. And people, when we narrate them, they say, what sort of people you are were to be happy like that? You see, this is what I'm saying. What is the difference, you see? Yeah. Anything that gives him happiness, anything that, caters to his pleasure, is a pleasure to us, is our happiness, that's all.
Or sometimes when we did a nice thing, acceptably nice, but it didn't make him happy. But the women would, gently persuade him, gently pressurize. For instance, like, Baba, your fingernails are really grown long. Time to cut them. Baba would make such a face, as if it was such a big thing. They're all right. They're not that big, but I mean they were big for what he would have them. They're pretty big. So he turned around to one of us and said, is that big? And I said, well, yes, Baba, it's time to cut. No, it's better to cut. So then he would say, but I have worked there. I promised Eruch that he's going to read out this, that. I have such and such thing to do. So Mara would say, Baba, tomorrow? Right, sunshine. Tomorrow. Tomorrow was his best day. He'd be very happy that it'd be tomorrow. So although it was a nice thing that Baba's nails should be cut, toenails, fingernails, whatever, but then it didn't make him happy. Or sometimes it used to be great fun. Baba would himself said he liked his mustache trimmed smartly in time, not just, he was never careless of things like that, not Baba. So he'd do this and say, and Meredith is trying to trim your mustache. Okay. So at the dining table after breakfast, nobody said the chair would be turned this way, and Baba was seated. Mera would bring out the little mustache scissors and be trimming them. In the meantime, I'd come out and do something, prepare for Baba's coming to the men monthly soon. And I go back, and Baba turns to me and says, is that good? Is it well? How do I look? How? And I, to be honest and truthful, you wouldn't believe it, but yes. And I look at Baba properly and I said, well, this side is a little bigger than this side, Baba. She looks up at Mera and says, see what she says? And she says, okay, right. So she trims the left side. And Baba says, how are you? How's it now? How do you find it now? So I look and I say, well, now, this side is a little bigger. This side. Okay. So Mera's trimming that side. Very, very little, just. Then he says, well now, how do you find it now? Is it all right now? I said, well, he said, enough. Between you, I will have no mustache left. It's quite all right.
No, but pardon?
Was there ever a time when he didn't have a mustache?
No.
No, but so often people have been asking me as to what he had big bushy mustache first.
Very fast.
Yeah, in the very early, we have got pictures, all this. So what led him to trim the mustache? So I just brush it off by saying you ask the women.
But it's the women in the West that did it.
I don't know. I want to know. Do you all know anything about it?
Yeah.
So it is. So then I was right. Then it's ask the women. Then. Yeah. No, but the one thing that always appealed to me means all these pranks that we would play with him would be, and he would play with us. There's no doubt. Yeah, because he does not know anything. He is totally innocent about all these things. And these things that led me, well, also to believe who he is. One of the things. So what happens is this, that these are the last year, this is the last year now, 1968, 69 now, I think it is. Or 68, I think it is 68, end of it.
You only had a
So-
month in 69.
Huh?
You only had a month in 69.
Yeah, this is 68 now. Most probably December and all that. It seems that it is the women's duty to have hot water ready for his bath and this and that, because everything is being done there. And women see to that, and they took great care of his body, and we knew it, and we were happy about it. And of course, when he was on tour, then it was my turn. Formally, before I was Kaka Baria used to see to his body. Then after Kakabaria retired, then it was my turn. So I would do the same thing, plait his hair, comb his hair, trimming the moustache and shaving his beard and this and that and see his hot water and all. I used to do that. It seemed that word came in the end of the 1968 from inside saying that now Ghaver brought the news to me and says, try to do one thing, get Baba to take a bath. I said, what? He says, we have tried our best and he doesn't want to take a bath. And it's for a long time now, it's not good for his body. So we must give him, entice him to take a bath. Because every time the tomorrow would be there with him. Like today is a cloudy day, I have a cold, I'm feeling feverish, and you'd try to put it off. And somehow or other when he escaped from the women's side and came here, and he'd come and sometimes say that, today is my crucifixion day. Crucifixion day, yeah. And we didn't understand. He says, do you know what I mean by it? I have to take a bath when I go here in the afternoon. Yeah. And there, again he will put it off, some excuse, and he will again come away. You see. So that's how it was. So they did not succeed. And they thought that, well, I might do something to succeed in it. So they shifted the onus on me to try to give him the bath. Well, I said, all right, I'll try my best. Knowing fully well, because I heard from Ghaver what they did and all that, everything failed. Nothing seemed to induce him to take a bath. And it was imperative that his body, his pores need to be, opened up. Yeah,
I mean, his body was fragrant.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to
nothing seemed to be this, but he needed that. Because what happened every afternoon, I would massage his body with talcum powder and all that. He would be coming and I'll just give him rub, but how to rub it? Just to have a little talc, powder. What do you call it? Talcum powder?
Talcum powder.
Yeah. So I would rub it. There is that bench here. I would make him sleep and do that and all that. And then to top it all, you see, prior to this bath business, what had happened, why Ghaver was so adamant and others were adamant for him to take bath is that all that talc was there and it couldn't be washed. But to top it all, the love of his lovers, they heard that his body is frail and all that. So from Iran, somebody sent a jar full of almond oil. And almond oil is very famous, you see, for the body to give strength and,
Homemade extract.
It's a costly thing, almond oil, the whole jar. So they had sent it with petition to Baba that this is sent for you, for your body, it will do you good, and now your body will be nice and all that. And he looked, and one thing that he didn't like, to my knowledge, any woman would come or any man would come and then Baba would embrace, and if he had any grease on his head, and naturally the cheek, the head goes towards the cheek, and if that is greasy, then he, what is this? You have put oil there? So he'll be very careful. If there is an oily head, then the embrace will not be that intimate. That I've noticed. Yeah. So that much I noticed also. And to top it all, to have oil on his body, was real crucifixion now. But because of the love of his loved ones from Iran, who had sent with such love, and he's looked at me and I said, Baba, it's really good. Instead of this talc being used, this is the best thing for massage and all that. And then we'll put your body in sun and it will be nice, absorb sun's rays and all that. So this had been happening. And every day that bottle would be here on the windowsill and you'd look how much is there. And I said, I will use only a little, then wipe it off clean. And I used to do that. And
But in the morning, then I'd use a bit of the talcum. And bed when I used to massage
at the back there, yeah.
Just very slightly, didn't like it.
Yeah.
But
So
the oil was beautiful, what Eruch used to put.
So then what happened is that every day, he didn't like the oil and he wanted the oil to be finished. Now how to do that? He wanted me to have a little of the oil and then he wanted me to have more of the oil so that it's finished and we get over this. So there was that tussle, you see. So all that was there. And of course the women were noticing these things and the pores are being blocked, you see, all the time. With that old talc powder that was there, not taking bath, the oil is there and all that is there. But in spite of it, the body was very good, very fine. But what do you call it? Medically, The pores need to be open. You know that.
Cleanse.
Yeah. So the news comes to me that somehow or other get him to take a bath. Well, I'm here as usual, as if nothing has been told to me, and of course Baba does not know. We know that he does not know. He knows nothing. That's our relationship with him. So he's seated there. So one fine day, soon after this message had come to me, a couple of days after that, I took the advantage. He called me near him for something that he wanted me to show something, and I went there and I saw it. And he knew that I had very strong nostrils for smell. So while I'm doing that, I'm close to his face and body. Purposely I did that. So Baba says, what's the matter? So I said, I don't know. There is a stink around here. So, it's a stink around here? I don't. He had also powerful nostrils. So Baba started sniffing. Sense of, yeah. He said, I don't smell anything. I said, no, Baba, it is there. So I even shammed, you see that there is a dead little creature here, a rat or something. I went down and looked at under his chair and passed my hand and said, nothing. And then when I got up at the back there, I said, I know from where it comes. So where? From where it comes? I said, from your scalp. I had to tell a lie, of course. He said, really? So he did this, you see? He said, no, there's no smell, see? I said, yeah, but Baba, for you, because it is your scalp, therefore you don't have that smell. But I, as a stranger, away from your scalp, I get it. So I said, is that the case? Is it real? I said, yeah, it is. But it was not real. So I said, this will induce him to take a bath here. I thought that I am going to win now. And one over the women, because the women took pride in, So I was very happy that I had won. And when I sat down, Baba says, go and ring the bell. So I went and rang the bell for Gaver to come. So I told him in the meantime that Baba, it is time that you should take a bath now and get over with all this sort of thing. Because suppose if somebody comes over here, embraces you and all that, people used to come. It is not proper, it doesn't look good and all that sort of thing. So is that the case? So ring the bell. So then I rang the bell, Gaver came. I thought that he is asking Gaver to prepare the hot water and is going to take bath immediately. So when Gaver comes on a cycle here, as he comes, did you call for me? His Baba says, yeah, come here. You remember some years ago, one of my lovers from the West had sent a perfume bottle. And I had given to Mehra to keep it. See if she can find it. Ask her to find that. And bring it here. Well, after some time, you see, it must have taken about half an hour or an hour. Long time it was. So, and in the meantime, we are doing something as if nothing has happened, because I was serious that he should take a bath. So we can't go on harping on that, otherwise the seriousness is lost. So, Gaver comes with a bottle. So Baba looks at it, opens it. See how it is? He calls me, says, see how the scent is? I said, yeah, it's beautiful. He says, see now. So then he took a little this and rubbed here. And see how it is now? Smell now. I said, yeah, the perfume. He says, remember, keep this bottle on that sill there. It was kept there. So whenever any visitor comes, before he enters or she enters, remember to rub this here, you see, so that they won't have any sting. I lost him. He didn't take bath. Nothing seemed to induce him to take bath. So then we had the only...
He pretended not to know. He knew there was like that,
Oh, but we know that he didn't know. That's a happy feeling.
Would he still get a wet cloth?
There are some things
Yeah,
he would
so-
also ask you to, at least when we were in the room, they said, they tell me, smell, put your nose on my scalp and smell. And how long you not had a high water? I mean, this is in the latter period. This was a
it is
phase.
in the latter
Now, we used to
period.
bathe a lot before
Yeah.
that.
At 4 o'clock you take hot water bath and all that in the morning.
There was
First
no,
thing.
I said, no, Baba. There was no smell. And as far as Sadra, I mean, had we been removing our clothes after not bathing for so long, what would our clothes smell like? But when Sadra was removed, as usual, you know, by habit, we just take it and bury your face in it, smelling soft. It was almost like, you know, embracing Baba himself, fragrant and soft and gentle, just and glowing.
So the only recourse left now, I told Ghaver that we have failed. So Ghaver was very upset about it and we should do something and all that. So now I said the only thing is to manhandle him. Yeah, I told what we'll do is force him. If you think that medically it is so very important, then we'll force him to take it.
Like an injection.
Yeah. So how to do it? So what happened, the next opportunity was that of course many days passed by. Now it's a matter of days. Weeks are there and days are passing by in those weeks. There are only 4 weeks left for him to pass away. Not even 4 weeks, 3 weeks are there. On 13th, I think it was your birthday.
14.
14th is your birthday. On 13th,
14th
on 13th January he was here on the last day. That's how we remember because of your birthday.
No, he sent a telegram to me.
Distributing sweets. Yeah. So on 14th now we are at Baba's room because doctor stopped him from coming here. He would come, he had nothing, but they said, no Baba, you should take rest. If you want, if there is any work there, they can come there and they will be in your room there. So on 14th we are now called there and with his own hands he distributed sweets and remembered dawn, today is his birthday and this and that, and today is the day change in constellations take place. It is a great day in India also. So fine. We continued with our work and finished off and then we were sent back and all that. And days are passing by now. This must be about 25th of January or 26th. I don't remember the exact day, but very few days were left now for the last day, which I didn't know. So now Ghaver is very jittery about all this and what to do, and we are all the time trying to find out what to do. So I said, do one thing. He likes what you call lavender water is there. Lavender water, you know, lavender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He liked the perfume of that because Baba always liked perfumes. Yeah, but not all perfumes. Special perfumes, rose, lavender, like that. So somebody had sent a bottle of lavender water for him.
Lavender water.
Water.
English.
So Ghaver said, I got a bottle of lavender there. I said, very good. Get hot water ready. And we'll see what happens. Keep the water ready, and when we come there, just get the water ready and keep it there. So we are called now by Baba for the post and mail every day. The demon was there till the last and it has not left us even now. So what happens is we are going there now and Baba is seated there, reclining and seated. So naturally Ghaver started bringing the pails. Baba says, what is this? I said, Baba, no, it's nothing, just in the meantime, what happened, I went to his feet, soles of his feet, and I started rubbing his feet. And I said, see what it is? What is it now? You know how the dry skin, you can have a powder of it.
Right, the skin can rub
Oh,
off.
yeah. So I said, see, just rubbing it like that, you get a powder. What about your body? All what we are doing now, we are determined. We told him, we are determined. Of course, this I call manhandling. We are determined to rub the sole of your feet, and you just sponge the feet at least. If you don't want to take a bath, then why can't we do this? So he said, all right. So I said, for that you, Baba, will make you sit there and you put your feet down, and we had a basin of water. And then I poured a bottle, not the whole bottle. See that how lavender water is there? It's nice fragrance. So I said, yeah, lavender water is there. So yeah. So I had the bath towel, those scrub towels and all that. I started, Ghaver, one leg, myself another and all that. And then quietly, after I had done that, we changed the towel, changed the water, and new water has been put. I said, why? Baba said, what is this? I said, naturally, this dirty water, we are throwing it out and having new water for you. And in the meantime, then what happened, I just lifted his pajamas, started doing this. What are you doing? I said, No, it's just here, then here, and here, and here. And he made the whole body. So he says, you are using the same tactics that I did for the musts. I said, what can we do? But his body was absolutely scrubbed and clean.
Back and everything, eh?
Back and everything. Then he allowed us to do it.
Did he wash his hair?
I don't know
No,
how he put up
not the head. So this is how it is, how to handle the body.
God's last bath.
God's last bath.
Did he get another bath after that?
No, that was the last.
last one.
Nothing after that. Nothing. As we prepare the body and all that, his body is nothing to be prepared.
What year was that?
It's 1916.
68.
No,
right?
this is 69.
This is January
This is
69.
69, 26th of January.
So that was only 7
Yeah,
days before.
yeah.
That's just
4 or 5 days prior to that. And we were happy that nothing is to be done now. It's clean. Okay, good night.
Good night.
Good night. You are there, we all are there, and Francis Goldman was there. Do you remember Francis Goldman?
I don't remember Francis Goldman.
Have you met him?
No.
Yeah, he was from the Faroe Islands.
Yes, I know where he's from.
And he had his wife by name Ola at the time. And they were all seated there. And by a distance, and Baba is doing his work with the poor and the lepers and all that. And then Francis quietly may have said, I don't know anything about it, because I'm with Baba nearby and we are all anxious to get the thing over, you see. So all of a sudden it seems, this is what Francis said later on. Francis must be egging his wife to see, because she was not believing in Baba. So she is looking and Francis is looking, and every now and then, see all that. How he is, see how he is tending to these people and all. So all of us said, yeah, he is a good man.
Good.
Baba must have overheard that. And he turned around, and I had to say that. Baba says he's not a good man. Baba says he is God man. And looked at her eyes, and that was the change in all of
She changed then from then on.
change, yes.
He gave you something in that look.
In that look,
just
that look, and that's the end of it all.
typical.
I'm not a good man, I'm God,
God man.